What is up, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, and fellas, and whoever's watching? My name is Warren Freeman. I'm here at Warren's Vlog. I don't know what episode it is because I didn't look at the last one. So I think it's episode 65. Yeah, let's go with that. And I'm reviewing Smackdown from 5 days ago, March 6, 2018. I had some technical difficulties with my Spectrum TV app, which I'm probably going to get rid of because it happens too frequently and I'm starting to get sick of it. And hey, I'm actually doing it during the daytime so you can see me better. Awesome. Alright, also any music you hear, I do not own the rights to. Alright, so let's get started. So we started off Smackdown. I actually watched Smackdown this morning, the Hulu version. So if it's anything that I'm missing, I do apologize. I didn't watch it live. I watched it on Hulu. So we start off with a Charlotte Flair promo, okay, or an interview rather, with Dasha, I think her name is. Charlotte is starting to talk. Ruby Riott comes out flanked by her Riott Squad, but she holds them off and gets in the ring. And Ruby Riott really puts Charlotte over. Like, she talks about all of her accomplishments, saying, you won the NXT title, the Divas title, both Raw and SmackDown Women's title, and I'm not sure where she was going with that, but she kind of put her over. But then she said that, all this was handed to you. And I will say this about Ruby Riott. The promo she cut on SmackDown was way better than the one she cut a couple months ago, where every other word was your father. You're here because of your father. You're there because of your father. That got annoying quick as hell. This was a much, much better promo than a month ago. And Charlotte basically saying, in response to that, to Ruby Riott, it's because of my last name that I've had to work harder than other people. I have to do more than just succeed. I have to transcend. And Charlotte basically said, well, if everything you mentioned about me as far as my accomplishments, I transcended. Dasha's already left the ring at this point because Ruby Riott, kicks her out of the ring. Then the Riott Squad joined Ruby in the ring. And right when they're about to attack Charlotte, Bobby Roode comes out. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, Bobby Roode has nothing to do with this program. But they are tag partners on the Mixed Match Challenge. That's the only connection they have. So, they just come out, and then we go to commercial break. And there's no explanation as to what Bobby Roode was going to do. There's no explanation as to why Bobby Roode came out. He just came out and then went to commercial break. I thought that was weird. I know they had to get to the next segment. Maybe that's what it was. But Bobby Roode came out. He sat down. Oh, before I move on to the next segment, one of the lines that Ruby Riott got off was she said that Charlotte's going to be a, quote, bleach blonde failure with a famous last name. I just thought that was perfect. I don't know if Ruby came up with that on herself. I doubt it because WWE heavily scripts the promos now. But whoever wrote that line was a nice little line to write. The announcers did a really good job during the entrances telling the story about how Ruby Riott beat Becky Lynch and Naomi, and now there's only one left, and that's Charlotte. And Charlotte, of course, beat Sarah Logan, whoever she is, Sarah and Liv Morgan, and then now there's one left. So the storytelling for this match has been perfect. The build-up has been perfect. So Bobby Roode came out to sit at the commentary desk for Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal. Yeah. If I were to play a drinking game with every single time that Bobby Roode has said, I respect Randy Orton, I would be fucking lit. Hell, if I were to play the drinking game for the entire build this month of how many times Bobby Roode said, I respect Randy Orton, I would be probably dead. He said it so much on commentary, it got annoying, man. Oh my God. As far as Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal, I mean, if you saw their feud last year, you've seen everything you need to see. There's nothing different. Orton killed a Singh with a back suplex. And I don't know whether it's the way Orton throws it or the way that Sunil Singh takes it, but it looked disgusting. Bobby Roode, or I'm sorry, Charlotte. Jinder Mahal did an Irish whip to Randy Orton. Orton reversed the Irish whip into Bobby Roode, making it look like an accident. I had to rewatch that to make sure because I thought Orton just threw him in the Roode, but it was a reversal. So that made it look good. Bobby Roode got on the apron after Orton hit the Orton DDT. Bobby Roode distracted Randy Orton, and Roode, due to Orton being distracted, he got hit with the Colossus. Jinder Mahal won. I question why Jinder Mahal was not involved in this in the first place, and I think that Jinder Mahal definitely has an argument as to why he should be in this match tonight. So I would not be surprised to see that turn into a triple threat match. But as far as who I think is going to win, I'll get to that later on in the video. I'm going to combine both the Smackdown review and the pay-per-view prediction in the same video. Alright, so we go backstage. Sammy and Kevin are having a moment. Sammy mentions that Kevin Owens could be a Grand Slam champion if he wins the WWE title. And Sammy says again he'll lie down for Kevin if need be during the match. So Kevin Owens will win the championship. I'll touch on that later on. Then we have a word porn session with Baron Corbin. That was very necessary. Usos and New Day hype video. From watching SmackDown at home, I enjoyed the hype video, but like if I were a paying customer and I was paying specifically to see the New Day or the Usos, I'd be pretty pissed off. That being said, the hype video was nice. And who knows, they probably had a dark match. Or actually, no, because the Mixed Match Challenge was after that. So, yeah, I'd be pissed. Shinsuke interview. And I said this about Asuka. If talking is not their strong point, then don't put them on the mic. Luckily, Rusev interrupted Shinsuke and basically reprimanded Shinsuke Nakamura for what he did to Adrian English's throat because he can't sing anymore. And then Rusev says, you know what, you broke my Aiden's voice, so I'm going to break you at Fastlane. Shinsuke Nakamura accepts the challenge. And then Shinsuke declares that this Sunday will be Nakamura Day. And Rusev says, hey, bro, you can't just make up your own holidays. That's probably my favorite moment on SmackDown. That was funny. Moving on. We have Becky Lynch versus Carmella. There was a segment on WWE.com that happened backstage. That's how this match got announced last week, or the challenge was made. And Becky said that she'll have Carmella trending and tapping. And that's, I don't know if Carmella was trending, but Carmella definitely tapped out. What I noticed in this match is it was a lot of counter wrestling, which you're going to get that with Becky Lynch. Carmella had a vicious streak, which I enjoyed, but at the same time, it was kind of that Rocky story. Like the face gets his or her ass kicked, and then the heel or the face gets their ass kicked, and then come back with the save or with the makes a comeback and wins. And that's just so formulaic and so predictable that it at times it could be bothersome. I mean, I think here it was worse because Becky Lynch only did like one thing. Like she hit the Bexploder. Like Becky Lynch would have a bunch of hope spots, but then Carmella would cut her off. And then she'd do another hope spot. One of the hope spots was the Bexploder suplex. Carmella cut her off. And then out of nowhere, it was no hope spot. It was just the end of the match. She got the arm bar or the disarmer locked in on Carmella and she tapped out. One thing I enjoyed, the announcers were on point tonight. They really did a good job of telling the story, which is what you're supposed to do. They told basically the history between Carmella and Becky. Becky Lynch was the inaugural SmackDown Women's Champion. She pinned Carmella to get that, and then Carmella won the Money in the Bank at Becky's expense. Of course, Ellsworth was implemental in that, but they didn't mention that. So then we go backstage to Naomi and Natalya. They're arguing backstage. The Rusev segment and this segment was my favorite of the entire show. So, basically, Naomi says, Natalya, you have no friends. Natalya says, I have a bunch of friends. Naomi has two good lines here. Naomi says, Name one friend you have that's not a cat. Then Naomi challenges. Okay, then Natalia somehow segues into Carmella and her being friends. So Naomi says, okay, well, how about myself and Becky challenge you and Carmella to a tag team match? Natalia accepts. And then Natalia says, well, I'm going to challenge the winner of Ruby Wyatt and Charlotte. She doesn't specifically name drop those two, but she does say she's going to challenge the winner of the women's title match at WrestleMania, which is kind of odd because Natalia has nothing to do with that storyline, and Ruby Wyatt and Charlotte have nothing to do with this other storyline. So they're probably going to lump them all together in some sort of multi-woman match. That's my assumption, because they have nothing to do with each other. They're not even intertwined. The only possible connection that Natalia could have is that Charlotte beat her for the belt. Okay, so Natalia makes the WrestleMania challenge to whoever wins out of Ruby Wyatt and Charlotte, and this is Naomi's second line. She says, "You're not gonna be going to WrestleMania. All you're gonna be doing is vying for a spot on the couch next to Tupac." And she throws up the deuce, which can mean two or deuce. It's awesome. AJ Styles comes out and cuts a promo. I've seen some really good AJ Styles promos. This was not one of them. He basically played John Cena's promo from Raw and then responded to that. I think Ziggler is a better promo than AJ Styles. Ziggler came out and cut a promo basically saying AJ had one good line. I forget what Ziggler said, but AJ said, in response to whatever Ziggler said, he said, this coming from the guy who's been here for 13 years and haven't reached their full potential. And Ziggler fired back and said, this coming from the guy it took 10 years to even get to the WWE. And then Ziggler just went on a tangent, basically saying, you talking about you're doing this for us, you're doing this for us, talking about the fans. And Ziggler said, these fans are going to turn on you the second you let them down. And Ziggler talked about how he won the world title, and they turned on him, basically letting them down or whatever. And here's my thing. You know you're losing a promo when you say, well, why don't we just have a match? Because they were scheduled to wrestle later on that night. But after Ziggler ripped them apart in that promo, AJ said, why don't we just have a match? That's how you know you're losing a promo. So anyway, AJ versus Ziggler. These guys have wrestled before. I think they've had better matches. That being said, this match wasn't bad. I'm gonna be honest with you. When this match was on, I was watching. I was prepping my ribs, but I was still watching. And the two things I noticed is that both men Both men went for their finishers early. So Ziggler went for the super kick. AJ went for the Style Slash. They both got out of it. Then both men teased each other's finishers. So AJ went for the super kick, and Ziggler went for the Style Slash. Then Owens and Zayn came in and interrupted, causing a double disqualification. Shane McMahon comes out, and instead of predictably making a tag match, he makes a 5-way match, adding Owens, Zayn, and Corbin into the match, which is a nice little swerve. And it was the match we were originally supposed to get before had to get involved in it. So we get the 5-way. One thing I noticed about this 5-way that I liked is they showed AJ Styles broke up a lot of pinfalls in this match, which is showing what AJ is going to have to go through tonight at the pay-per-view. The surprising moment of the match, Sami Zayn hits Kevin Owens with the hula kick. The rest of the guys get thrown out of the ring. I think AJ pulls Ziggler out, then Ziggler gets thrown out, then Corbin gets thrown out, and then it's just Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in the ring. Kevin Owens is looking out on the outside of the ring. Sami Zayn's on the opposite side of the ring. Sami Zayn hits a haluva kick and pins him. Now, notice what Sami Zayn said to Dasha at the end of the show. Sami Zayn said that Dasha basically asked him, why did you do that? Sami Zayn says something, but this is what the most important thing that Sami Zayn said. Tonight was not about the WWE Championship. Tonight was proving that was showing that I am the best that SmackDown Live has to offer. That's critical, because they can still go with the Sami Zayn laying down spot tonight at the pay-per-view. Okay, speaking of the pay-per-view, these are my predictions. These are the matches, and these are my predictions. As far as what's going to be in a pre-show, what's not going to be in a pre-show, I don't know. But I'm still going to go through all the matches. And if they're on the pre-show when I do my review, I won't rate it. So these are the matches that have been announced as of right now. Becky Lynch and Naomi versus Natalya and Carmella. The WWE has a history of booking the Money in the Bank winners poorly. So I'm just going to pick Becky Lynch and Naomi to go over here. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev. This is pretty obvious. You're not going to make a Royal Rumble winner look weak. So I'm going to go with Shinsuke Nakamura. On that note, the only time I could ever remember the Royal Rumble winner losing at the February pay-per-view, 2 times now that I think about it, Triple H to Kurt Angle, but that was because Stephanie McMahon was the referee, and Randy Orton to Rey Mysterio because Randy Orton cheated. But both those men that lost at No Way Out still went on to win the title at WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair versus Ruby Riott. I'm picking Flair to retain, and fuck it. Carmella's going to cash in tonight. The only reason why I say Carmella cashes in tonight is because if you notice, they haven't really been mentioning, or you haven't seen Carmella that much lately. And what better way to shake up SmackDown or shake up WrestleMania than to have Carmella cash in tonight? New Day versus the Usos. This was a tough one for me to pick. I'm gonna go with the Usos simply because I want to see the Usos at WrestleMania. I really do. I talked about the Usos promo last week, and I talked about the New Day's counter promo last week. That was my favorite part of that show. But I think the Usos retain. They're gonna go to WrestleMania. I talked about it in my Raw review with the Bar beating the Revival and why that pissed me off, but it opened up an opportunity for the SmackDown Tag Champions to go up against the Raw Tag Champions. So they could do that at WrestleMania, or they could have the Bludgeon Brothers face either the Usos or the New Day or both. Hell, it wouldn't surprise me if the Bludgeon Brothers run in and just destroy both teams tonight, and then there's a triple threat for WrestleMania for the tag titles. Rude versus Orton. I think Randy Orton's going to win the U.S. title tonight because I'm pretty sure that'll make Orton the Grand Slam champion. I'm almost positive it will. And then you can give Bobby Roode his moment at WrestleMania when he defeats Randy Orton for the title. Then the 6-pack challenge. I'm going to make a bold prediction here. Styles is retaining, but that's not my bold prediction. My bold prediction is that Styles retains, pinning John Cena. And this is just wishful thinking. I think The Undertaker shows up tonight. Undertaker shows up Undertaker shows up and basically challenges John Cena to WrestleMania. Because if you remember, John Cena said, I want to fight The Undertaker, but that's not going to happen. So maybe Taker shows up tonight and says, yeah, bitch, it's going to happen. Rest in peace. Tombstone. Fade to black. Yeah. So, Becky Naomi over, Shinsuke over, Flair over with Carmella cashing in and winning. Usos retain, Orton wins the U.S. title, Styles retain, pinning Cena. Those are my predictions. As far as what I thought of SmackDown, was it better than Raw? You know what? I'm not going to pick a winner this week. I think both shows were kind of, So I know it's a cop-out, but I'm not going to pick a winner. I think both shows were slightly above average. So that's what I thought about Raw and SmackDown. But those are my predictions for Fastlane. And this has been my review of SmackDown. And tonight I'm going to watch the pay-per-view. And if I'm not too tired or if it's not too late, I will do a review of Fastlane tonight. You guys have a wonderful day.